Yeah, that's how I'm feeling. All right.
Are we reading the whole thing again?
We have to.
Damn it.
What if people decide to click on this video first?
What do you mean?
If they just decide, the next one's when they start Act 5, that's all I really care about, so I might as well just watch the recaps and then go.
Why would you ever want to just watch the recap?
Danny, you said it yourself that a lot of Homestuck fans just skip to Act 5.
Yeah, that's true.
So, anyway, picking up from where we left off,
Ugh.
I typed a really long recap. Then some other stuff happened. GC, Gallows Calibrator, helped John fly to the second gate, which took him to Rose's world, Lolar. He crashed into Rose's room, where he found her asleep. He snooped through her room, and Dave tricked him into giving him the code to duplicate Rose's writing journals. John opened the package Rose made for his birthday. It contained the bunny from Con Air, the same one John got from Dave, but older and dirtier, and modified with Rose's knitting. She'd had the bunny ever since she was very young. Alright, do you want to do what we did last time and trade off?
Yeah. John leaves Casey the Salamander, Bubbles Viceroy Von Salamancer, in the room. He briefly speaks with GA, Grim Auxilitrix, from Rose's computer, and pretends to be Rose. She believes he is, triggering a convoluted series of conversations between her and the real Rose, but in both the past and future, in no particular order. GA gets help with her computer from TA, Twin Armageddons, in time to see Rose at her computer having woken up.
Before she woke up, hold on. Before she woke up, Dream Rose was awake on Dursa's moon. She now had memories from her future self's Doom alternate reality. She flew to Dream Dave's tower and got his attention with a ball of yarn, causing real Dave to fall asleep. They had a dream dance party. Dream Rose threw Dream Cow out the window. Rose Rocketboard caught Dream Cow. AR followed the board and Cow to a transportalizer on Durst, which led to a meteor lab in the Veil.
I'll read the next two.
Whoa.
Meanwhile, on Lolar, Rose's mom defeated a huge monster, the pony, Maplehoof, followed her and collected the Grist Windfall. Both mom and the pony then transported to the meteor lab. John's dad found a clean hat, and John had deposited into a parcel of Pixis. Dad followed Jade's grandpa, who was carrying John's Sassacre book, into some ruins. They both transported to the meteor lab too. Meanwhile, John used the grist collected by the pony to make a normal-sized version of a giant hammer, Fear No Anvil, which Dave Sprite gave him the code for. Dream Rose saw John on Dream Dave's computer and woke up. She went out to see him, but he had already blasted off. He took the mutant kitten, Vodka Mutini, Dr. Meowgan Spengler, with him. John found the ruins that Mom and the pony went into. He went in and killed some powerful monsters with his new hammer. He transported to the meteor lab as well.
In the lab, he found no one, except the pony. Some other stray items were on the floor. Dad's dirty hat, the Sassacre book, Dream Cow. He found some apparatus used to genetically engineer foot soldiers and agents for the white and black armies. What are you pointing at? Are you pointing at my gay Canadian flag?
Yeah.
Did you forget I had that?
Imagine being gay.
Oh shit, what will I tell Renna?
Oh, just kidding, love Renna.
Renna actually made their debut on my channel recently.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm reading Umineko with them.
Oh, slay. Love that.
Shit, where was I? From Chess Piece DNA. He also found a junior ectobiologist's lab suit in a series of terminals much like those the Exiles would find in the far future. He would use this apparatus to create paradox clones of himself, his friends, and their guardians.
Could you imagine making paradise clones?
Paradise clones?
Paradigm clones? Paradox. Of yourself, your friends, and your guardians. Meanwhile, AR surfed Bro's rocket board to a different meteor containing the frog temple that would later root itself near Jade's island. Inside, he found the same time capsule she would find later. He also found some more lab equipment used for ectobiology. This equipment would soon be used to create Beckwell, a mutated combination of the genes from an ordinary dog in the early 20th century and the DNA code in one of Rose's journals. AR hides in the lab when he hears one of Jack's henchmen, the draconian dignitary. Dee Dee is carrying Rose's duplicated journals, which she stole from Dave, and Dave's beta, which was used as a bookmark. He discards the beta into the time capsule. Millions of years later, from the time capsule's perspective, Jade would retrieve that beta and use it to connect with Dave, allowing him to enter the medium.
Dave entered the journal duplicates. Dave created the journal duplicates after an extensive alchemy binge. Rose too had a similar alchemy session, and both kids upgraded their weapons and gear. Rose made a pair of needle wands crossed with her grimoire and took up the art of dark magic. She used this magic to burn her journal, thus destroying the genetic code. She was advised to do so by the gods of the furthest ring, whom she was now able to communicate with in her dreams. The gods lived far beyond the veil, and advised the children of the moon of Durs, and serve as the counterpart to the role Skaya plays for the children of Prospect's moon. They deemed the code which would inevitably be used to create Becquerel to be dangerous.
Dave decided to destroy his copy too, but when he went back to his room, he discovered they were stolen. He also found his own dead body, which apparently was him from the very near future, attempting to go back in time and stop the thief. DD. Dave decided not to attempt any more time travel and dispose of the body. GC, Gallows Calibrator, discussed the matter with him and pledged to help him by telling him his future along the way, so that he would not have to face the death of more future selves, or suffer the sort of embarrassment he went through while entering the medium.
Previously unseen, the way Dave entered the medium was as follows. As the large meteor was bearing down on the city, Dave climbed the radio tower on top of his building with his broken sword in hand to reach the nest built by the crow sprite. The sprite guarded the egg, which, unknown to Dave, simply needed time to hatch before he could enter. The sprite pecked his head and he fell. He was saved by Bro's rocket board. Meanwhile, Bro was on top of the meteor, riding it as it descended. He used his sword to chop it in half, splitting it into two pieces, diverting the initial impact from the building to two separate impact sites. He thus bought a little more time for the egg to hatch, which it did, just before their location was consumed by the blasts.
On Prospect's moons, PM prepared to depart for the battlefield at the center of Skaya, to seek the king's counsel on what to do with the queen's ring. She was tailed by another one of Nor's lackeys, the courtyard droll. CD picked her pocket and stole the ring. PM departed via shuttle to Skaya. Dream Jade then clobbered CD and recovered the ring. She tried it on, but its power has no effect on humans. Later, CD would travel to the battlefield and continue tailing PM.
The battlefield is a planet at the center of Skaya. It undergoes a transformation with each player that enters the medium, and each new prototype kernel introduced. It starts as a simple 3x3 chessboard with two kings in perpetual stalemate, and expands to a large board and more exotic collection of pieces with the first player entering. Then it becomes much larger cube with the second player, and then an even larger sphere with oceans, trees, mountains, and pastures with the third. It presumably will transform again with the fourth.
The armies of the Black and White Kingdoms duel there. Soldiers are airlifted from meteor facilities in the Veil to supply the manpower. Enormous mutant chest-like monsters stalk the landscape. The two kings command their armies from the field. They each have a scepter that serves a similar purpose to the queen's rings. When activated, a scepter causes a king to be a giant, and bear the properties of all the prototypings. A king is able to deactivate a scepter, to hand it off to another so that they will not be affected in that way. When the Black King captures the White King's scepter, the reckoning begins. The reckoning sends all the meteors in the Veil towards Skaya, in stages, first the small ones, then gradually the bigger ones, over a 24-hour period.
There was a war-weary villain on the battlefield who was a simple farmer and was tired of conflict. WV united a band of soldiers from both armies to lead a rebellion against the Black King. Before they could attack the king, Jack Noir, now empowered by the Black Queen's ring, intercepted the coup. He destroyed the king's scepter and killed the king. Jack then killed the entire rebellion army, sparing only WV, perhaps to leave a survivor to tell the story, or perhaps out of respect for a fellow mutineer. Only he knows. Meanwhile, PM met with the White King. He disabled his scepter and gave it to her along with his crown. PM now had the crowns of the White King and Queen, and the White Scepter, but discovered she had misplaced the White Queen's ring. Jack's muscle, the hegemonic brute, had been telling the White King, HB then followed PM and rescued her. She dropped the scepter off a cliff. She would regroup and chop off HB's head with the Regisword Jack gave her to kill the White Monarchs. CD, who has been tailing both of them, recovered the White Scepter and delivered it to Jack. Jack used it to initiate the Reckoning, and would proceed to go on a more extensive rampage, devastating the battlefield and Prospect.
Oh boy. Back in the Meteor Lab, John began the ectobiology session, which appeared to have been prepared for him in advance by the Guardians who had just been there. The 4 monitors were all locked onto the kids' Guardians at certain points in time, each on the day of one of the kids' birth. On Jade's birthday, Nana was locked onto in John's neighborhood by the Betty Crocker factory. The meteor carrying baby Jade crashed into that factory and destroyed it. Her grandpa, the owner of that factory, would adopt her. John's dad witnessed and would spend years investigating. On Dave's birthday, Grandpa was locked onto while he was on his yacht, pioneering the island for the first time. He was sailing with baby Jade. Overhead, there was a meteor carrying baby Dave, which would crash into Bro's favorite record shop. On Rose's birthday, Bro was locked onto as he stood over the crater where he would find baby Dave. He would give him a tiny pair of pointy shades. Overhead, there was a meteor carrying baby Rose, which would land in a lake and destroy it. Rose's mom would retrieve and adopt her. Months later, on John's birthday, Mom would bring Rose to John's neighborhood to investigate the destruction of Grandpa's factory and related stellar phenomena. The target was locked onto her. Dad came out of the family joke shop to greet her, leaving Nana inside. The meteor carrying baby John destroyed the shop, killing Nana. Dad would adopt John, and Rose's mom disappeared. Dad retrieved her scarf and filed the clue away for his ongoing investigation.
John attempted, unwittingly, to purify all 4 gardens, but guardians, not gardens, but since removing them from those moments would have caused a paradox, he instead paradoxified their ghost slime imprints. This slime was collected into 2 pairs of containers. One pair collected Nana and Grandpa's slime. The other pair collected Mom and Bro's. The device then created baby paradox clones of the 4 guardians. These babies would then later be sent back in time to become those guardians themselves.
Once those 4 clones were created, another sequence activated. The 2 pairs of slime tubes emptied into vats below. The Nana-Grandpa slime mixed together, and separately the Mom-Bro slime mixed together as well. An additional 4 paradox clones were created from those 2 slime concoctions. Baby John and Jade were created from the Nana-Grandpa slime. Baby Rose and Dave were created from the Mom-Bro slime. These 4 babies would also go back in time to become the 4 kids, via meteors, in the sequence and on the dates listed above.
All 8 babies would each ride their own meteors, launch from the Veil right after Jack started the Reckoning, and into the defense portals and deployed by Skya to protect itself. The defense portals each lead to Earth, as Skya defends itself in a way by sacrificing Earth. While most meteors are sent to the time period when the kids begin the game, many lead to a number of different time periods. Some 13 years prior, fuck me, I can't talk, to the game, used by the kids. Some nearly a century prior, used by Nana and Grandpa. Some millions of years ago, used eventually by the Frog Temple meteor. And some to the far future, used by the Exiles.
And all 8 of them would travel with an object or animal. John with the Sassacre book, which would become the much older-looking family heirloom stored in Dad's safe, with Nana Sprite's inscription to John on it. Rose with the dirty bunny Dave gave John for his birthday. Dave with the pony Maple Hoof. Jade with the knit-repaired bunny Rose got John for his birthday, which Rose cherished since birth. Nana with Dad's dirty hat. Mom with Mutini, Meow Gun. Grandpa with 2 flintlock pistols, which older Grandpa left behind for him in the lab, which would eventually both wind up in Jade's room. And Bro with Dream Cow, which would later be fitted with a new personalized shirt and would become Real Cow, the same doll that would haunt Dave's waking life, and consequently his dreams.
Alright, I'll do these next 2. Okay. All of these babies and their items, whatever. All these babies and their items would automatically be transported to their own meteors at the onset of the Reckoning. John made absolutely sure to give Baby Rose and Jade their bunnies when he saw an opportunity to reenact a scene from one of his favorite movies, much to the dismay of watching CG, carcinogeneticists. While AR was in the Frog Temple lab, he would see more of young Nana and Grandpa's story. On 4/13/1910, exactly 99 years prior to John's birth, baby Nana's meteor destroyed a bakery owned by Betty Crocker. Nana was adopted by Crocker's husband, Colonel Sassacre, and taken to live in his mansion. 8 days later, Grandpa's meteor destroyed the dog belonging to Sassacre's dog, Holly. Holly was elsewhere and was unharmed. When Sassacre and Nana went to investigate the crater, Sassacre was shot and killed accidentally with one of Grandpa's pistols. Holly then showed up, who young Grandpa would tend to pronounce Harley due to his speech impediment, and would largely serve as their guardian for the next 13 years, with presumably some parental influence from the wicked Crocker. On his 13th birthday, Grandpa would run off with Harley to find adventure. Nana would stay behind, contend with the Batter Witch, and master the art of baking, as well as take up her deceased grandfather's tradition of pranksterism.
I'll read the next 3.
Oh, look at you,
What?
Mr. Big Boy Reader. Oh no.
I'm gonna kill you
Please.
in a video game.
I'd like to see you fucking try. I know you're shit at games.
Harley was locked onto by the Frog Temple's equipment. Dee Dee activated the device and produced a Paradox clone of Harley, combined with the controversial Meow code to create Puppy Beck. The spectacle terrified AR, leaving a major impression on him, who would later recognize Beck's silhouette carved onto WV's pumpkin years later. The pumpkin commanded his fear and caused him to surrender. Meanwhile, the grown-up versions of Mom and Dad were on board a flying battleship belonging to Grandpa, who piloted it towards Skya. Dad gave Mom her long-discarded scarf from the day he lost his mother and found his son. The two guardians traded gestures of affection. Jade remained asleep through it all, trying to stay on the moon as long as she could until she figured out how to wake John up. She talked about this with A.T. Adios, who revealed he preferred his dream life on Prostrate more than any aspect of the game, and regretted all the trolls' dream selves were now dead. Jade expressed surprise at the notion of dream self-mortality. Something to do with bulls.
The bullfighter. It sounded like you had trouble saying adios, too, which was honestly the weirder of the two to have trouble saying. From what I know of him, he's a pretty cool dude. I don't know, did you do something bad? Are you about to, like, drop a bomb on me right now?
I was just wondering.
Okay.
I was wondering if you've heard anything. Because from what I know, too, he just seems weird.
He just seems
British.
Yeah. Which is a sin in and of itself.
Yeah, for real. Imagine being born in the UK. Nasty.
Imagine being born in England. Other places in the UK are kind of better because they're also being fucked over by England.
Yeah, you know what? You're right.
If you're Scottish, we love you.
Yeah. If you're Welsh, you're pretty cool. If you're Northern Irish, though, get the
If you're any other kind of Irish, hey.
Hey. Just shooting our shot with the entire country of Ireland.
Danny, you should check your phone real quick.
Oh, God. What did he send you? Okay. Whatever it was, you didn't get a notification on your home screen.
Oh, that's because I turned my sound off so it wouldn't beep. Oh. I love this artist.
Oh, I see. Not Melissa. I don't know where I'm going with this. What was I gonna say?
I don't know.
Fuck, man, I don't know. It's your sentence. Okay.
Were you gonna talk about the artist you just sent me?
No.
I'm gonna do the next 4.
Wow.
After Jack used the full power of the ring to devastate the battlefield and the two armies, he turned his attention on Prospect, inflicting severe damage the same way. He then cut the chain connecting the moon to Prospect, sending the moon plummeting through the atmosphere of Skya and breaking up in the process. Dream John, still asleep, fell out of his tower and drifted down ahead of the falling moon. Dream Jade flew to intercept him, and spent a moment attempting to wake him up before the moon's collision was imminent. At the last minute, she flung Dream John out of the blast radius, but was not able to clear the blast herself. She died. The blast left a massive crater on the battlefield. This was the first thing Dream John saw when he woke up. The death of Dream Jade caused her dream bot to malfunction and explode, destroying her room. Still asleep, Jade fell from her tower as Beck watched from a distance, and an enormous meteor loomed overhead. Elsewhere on Days World, Lohak, Bro dueled with Jack briefly. It was a stalemate until Bro plunged his sword into the large floating record platform they were fighting on. This released a mysterious energy from the cracks. Bro escaped.
Rose completed her final GameFAQs walkthrough entry, and used magic to seal it in a server in the furthest ring, to be accessed by players in world beyond their own. She had destroyed her first gate on a whim, and resolved to search for answers to remedy the hopelessness of their doomed session. Meanwhile, Dave entered his first gate, riding into it with his awesome skateboard. Unreal air.
The four exiles arrived on Earth years after its apocalypse, but years before they found their respective command stations. WV wrapped himself in John's dream blanket, which became dirty and unrecognizable over time. He found it along with a Jack-like doll on the battlefield, which formerly sat in Dream John's bedroom, haunting his dreams. WV ripped it apart. PM wrapped herself in a Prospect banner, which too faded in time. AR wrapped himself in caution tape, using his own supply, as well as some fresh rolls he was lucky enough to discover near the ruined frog temple in one of Grandpa's old crates. This was after he escaped that same temple in the medium and found the meteor lab in which John slept. The meteor then took off for Skya via the Reckoning. AR taped John to the rocket board and cast him off before the meteor went through a portal. Thus, AR became exiled. WQ exiled herself with an entourage on a royal cruiser and landed on Earth. She departed on a solo quest, leaving her people to leave to their own devices. She discovered her own command station, a large egg, broken in two pieces, in which the two large craters made by Dave's split meteor. She used a key to repair the egg station and teleported to the present location of the exiles, the Frog Ruins at night, 413 years after the apocalypse of Earth.
I'll read the next two. Oh my
All
god.
right.
On the battlefield, Dream John found Dream Jade's body. He was sad and confused and took her ring as a keepsake. Later, Grandpa would land his ship on the battlefield, find and recover her body, and use it to create a stuffed trophy as a memorial. As per the proud family tradition, he would depart in his ship and leave Mom and Dad behind. John saw a vision in a cloud directing him where to go. It was a castle where he would rendezvous with PM. PM, after beheading HB, used his radio to summon Jack. He came, and she traded the 2 white crowns for the green box. Jade's present to John. He appeared pleased to uphold the bargain, either out of the misunderstanding that he was still under control of its contents, or out of respect for PM's tenacity and brutality in pursuing the prize. Only he knows.
Want to know what the making family members into stuffed trophies reminds me of? I don't know what show this was on, or if Young Gravy just decided to do that one day. But you know that comedy skit he did where he's the human taxidermist? You know the Young Gravy comedy skit where he's the human taxidermist? Holy shit! All right, I'm pausing the recording to show them.
God, we're almost done.
All right, where were we?
Uh,
By the way, if you were curious about the video I was showing them, just look up Young Gravy human taxidermist. Yeah, it's the first thing you'll find.
I think we start at PM.
All right. Yes, we did. PM. I'll just do the rest. PM delivered the package to John, then left, not thrilled by the trials caused by its recovery. John opened it to find letters from Jade and her pen pal, who helped her make the present for him over several years. The gift was the pen pal's idea, and he himself was coerced into the plan by someone else. The box contained a modified version of the stuffed bunny John had received for his birthday twice already. It was the same knit-repaired bunny John sent back in time with baby Jade, and she presumably kept it as a cherished childhood toy ever since. It was now upgraded with mechanical parts, fully mobile and autonomous. It was also included with 4 powerful weapons: the Royal Derringer, broken sword, the quills of Echidna, knuckles, wands, Ahab's crosshairs, rifle, and the Warhammer of Zillihu, hammer. Each was shrunken down to be bunny-sized. As John mourned Jade's death over her letter, he was interrupted by Jack's sword. Jack was after the ring, but the heavily armed mechanical bunny intervened, recognizing John as its new master. Jack, knowing the danger of the toy, was forced to retreat. Finally, a cloud showed John what he was supposed to do with the ring. It was held by a mysterious black hand in the far future on Earth. The exiles gathered around Exile Town. WQ asked WV for something. WV revealed he had been storing the complete quad prototyped ring in the sleeve of his trusty knife. It had been there all along, much to Serenity's surprise. And then I started work on Act 5.
I know you just leave your recording supplies just kind of like around your room, but it's so funny that the tripod is like facing your bed.
I never thought of it like that. I truly haven't.
I just walk by it and I'm like, huh.
Why is that pointing towards the bed? Anywho, on to Act 5.
Yep. What you sick fucks have been waiting for.
What you sick fucks have been waiting for probably skips all of the previous ones. Alright.
The second they see the thumbnail change, it's like, oh, finally.
I like look at the view count and it goes from like I have like 30 to 1,000. So like, oh.